I'm here at Combermere Abbey in the northwest of England. With 900 years of history, this building was once a Cistercian monastery, but the heart of the abbey actually survived the dissolution and then became a Tudor manor house. In the centuries that followed, Combermere Abbey was transformed once more as an elegant Gothic country home during the tenure of the first Viscount Combermere. In 1919, it was acquired by Sir Kenneth Crossley, and today remains under the custodianship of his great-granddaughter Sarah and her husband Peter, who have dedicated themselves to restoring and revitalizing this historic treasure. When I married into the British aristocracy, it was the start of a wonderfully exciting journey. But for an American girl from a small town outside Chicago, that was also a little daunting.
I live with my husband Luke, the Earl of Sandwich, and our family at Mapperton House in Dorset.
Living in a place like this is a joy, but also a challenge. And every day we're aware that we're preserving a very special part of Britain's heritage. Mapperton has opened up an extraordinary new world for me, and I can't wait to share it with you all.
So if you love castles and manors and stately homes as much as I do, please join this American Countess as I journey into the British countryside in search of some of Britain's finest historic houses.
Combermere Abbey rests in one of the most beautiful settings, surrounded by rolling parkland and the tranquil waters of the Mere. I couldn't wait to see Sarah again and step inside to explore the Abbey's remarkable 900 years of history and hear about the restoration projects of the past 30 years. Hello.
Hello, hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm great. Lovely to see you again.
So nice to see you.
Welcome
And
to Combermere.
It's such a wonderful drive here, walk, the bird song. It's beautiful.
Very special place.
Really special.
Come
And
in
I
and let
can't-
me
well,
show you.
I know. I can't wait to see and hear all the work that you've done, because I know this has been a labor of love, hasn't
Yes,
it?
it has. It's been a lifetime commitment.
I know. Gosh, it's so nice to be here because I've read all about it and now I get to hear about it.
And I'm thrilled to tell you about it too.
Because this was once a monastery.
It
is that
was,
right?
absolutely. It was a Cistercian monastery established in 1133. And then after the dissolution in 1538, it then became a private house.
Oh my
And this is
gosh.
the oldest part of the house.
Right here.
Yeah, right here.
Dates back to?
Dates back to monastic times. It actually supports the library, which was the refectory upstairs.
Okay.
And it's the outside pillar. This is the middle pillar, and then there's another wall.
See.
And this was made of stone. Very unusual to have a first floor refectory, actually.
Yes.
But this is amazing, and there are 2 layers of ceiling between the one you see here and the floor of the library.
Incredible.
Yeah,
So
it is.
This was, again, if I go back in my sort of
Yeah.
mind here, we've got who walking through.
You got all the
here?
monks
All
walking
the
through
monks.
here. Yeah, the monks would have walked through here because it was actually an enclosed external façade. So
Okay.
it looked outwards
Yes.
that way, and it had 12 arches. And the reason we know that they are arches is because we discovered when we were doing the restoration of the library itself, we discovered these extraordinary carved stone beginnings of a decorative stone loggia, really.
Right.
So this would be a walking loggia.
Incredible just to think
Yeah,
that.
it is.
Oh, gosh, it
And
gives
so
me
that would have
chills.
gone all the way through here, and the library's directly above us.
Okay. But it's amazing that this is still here, considering
Absolutely.
the dissolution of the monasteries that happened in the mid-16th century.
Absolutely it is. And it's because we'll see it when I show you the library. The library structure was it was a second structure.
Okay.
So it was constructed in 1503, which meant that when the monastery was given then privately to Sir George Cotton, this was quite a new building. And they kept it, and they built their manor house around it. So this has remained, but all the other buildings to do with the monastery were all destroyed and taken away. Either burnt or
Right.
stone was given or taken to something else.
Right.
So it really is special.
Yeah.
And it has obviously held this extraordinary room up for all that period of time.
Unbelievable.
It's a very exciting, and it was a very exciting moment for us to find it by happenstance, because we have no archives here from the Combermere family.
Okay.
When my family bought it, they had already been renting it for 40 years, and so there were no archives. The restoration itself has become like an archive, and we found things like this stone. This very early stone. We sent it off to be dated, and it's absolutely right. It's of the period. So we are finding things.
And are you photographing?
We photograph, we document. But as we've had to restore the house, that's how we've uncovered bits of its history.
And so you're creating your
A new archive.
A new archive. Wonderful.
Yeah,
Sarah, absolutely wonderful.
it's brilliant.
So the library is
The
just
library's upstairs,
straight up
So
above.
I'd love to come and show you
yeah.
that.
Yes, please.
So this staircase was put in about the 1850s.
Okay, much later edition.
Yes, and has these wonderful little Gothic spindles there.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a quite an interesting little touch, that actually.
Oh, yes. Yes, and I quite like your chandelier here as well.
That's from New York.
What? So you've got this Gothic staircase and
A New York apartment chandelier. So it's fantastic.
Oh my gosh.
So I love it anyway.
Okay,
It
it's
suits
beautiful.
here.
It does suit here.
Does.
It's really beautiful.
Does suit here. So this painting
Yes.
that we are looking at was one of only 2 or 3 things that my great-grandfather bought from the big sale when the Combermeres sold the estate and the house in 1919. And this is an absolutely invaluable archive. So it's the house sometime in the late 1700s when it was still a Tudor black and white building.
Right.
And it sat between the 2 meres. So what you see today, which is only 1 mere, which is like a banana shape that comes round in front of the house, originally was a big mere and a little mere.
Oh my
But this is
goodness.
quite it's a very detailed painting. It was done by Tillemans, who was very famous for his bird's eye views. And the curious thing is, around the time that he would have painted this, he was living at Knowsley. But there's a relationship between the Derby family and the Combermere family. So the chances are he was called on to come and do painting.
Can I just ask, that is the timber frame that we see there, is it still
Yes.
here on the building?
Yes, it is.
It's just-
And that's what's so extraordinary. It was Lord Combermere's Gothicization of the building. He basically built an external structure and then put the Gothic render on the top. So he put it onto a frame, leaving the timber frame behind.
I see.
And that has been part of the main problem at Combermere. We have had, our restoration programme has had to restore the timber frame before we've put back the Gothic render.
Oh my God.
Because of all the damage that was done. The roof line was changed, and Lord Combermere put a second floor on for servants on one side and the other of the library. So it's caused a massive amount of problem. But at the same time, like I said before, that's our new archive.
Yes, of course.
And it's absolutely accurate.
But I love what you've done just here. You've got this Gothic staircase, New York chandelier, and then you've got your Tudor home there.
And American great-granny.
What?
Yes.
No.
Yes, I have an American great-granny. She married my great-grandfather, who bought the house in 1919, and that is a picture of her and her daughter. So that's great-granny, Josephine Crossley, but she was a Field from Chicago.
Like as in, because I'm from Chicago.
Or she was from Chicago.
No, so like as in Marshall
Yeah,
Fields.
Marshall Field. Marshall Field's brother was her father.
No.
Yeah, Stanley Field was her father.
Oh my goodness.
And
do
so-
you know how she ended up over here? I mean, I know, of course, there
Because
was
her father came to do all the European business for his brother in Europe.
So Stanley came
Yeah, he was based
to come and do all the European business
he was based
for
in
Marshall.
England. I know, it's extraordinary.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I do some research on my husband's great-grandmother, who, same period, Alberta Sturgis, but she also came from Chicago. So it'd be interesting if they were friendly, because she married in 1905 and died in 1951.
Yes.
And I'm going to have to look at some letters just to see. But she
That
would have
would
been
have
known by Josephine Crossley then, so I'll have to look at
She
that.
would have been Josephine Field or Josephine Crossley.
Crossley. Okay, I'll have a little look.
Isn't it
I
fascinating?
hope I find a letter that connects them. That would just be brilliant.
It would be fabulous.
Make my day.
Now come on into the library.
Oh my goodness. I feel like I've just literally walked into a different century from a long time ago, which I have.
It's interesting that you should say that, because I always say when I'm introducing this room to other people that actually the entire 900-year history of Combermere is actually in this room. And one of the reasons is that obviously it was originally the abbot's refectory.
Right.
Or it was the refectory or abbot's hall. Nobody can quite decide which it was. And so it then moved from being a monastic room,
Yes.
obviously, to being part of a Tudor manor house. And so here on this wall, we've got extraordinary carvings across the top here, all very, very early.
Oh my, well, there's Henry VIII
Yeah,
right there.
well, Henry gave the property to the father of Philip Cotton. So George Cotton was given this property.
Okay. After the
dissolution, gifted it to
Yeah.
George Cotton. George Cotton was given 22,000 acres and the monastery, basically.
Right.
And most of the monastic buildings were all torn down.
Okay.
But this room had been rebuilt in 1503. So above the ceiling we see here is the original hammer beam roof of the room.
It's still here.
Yes, because it is the structure. This is the whole outside structure of this room.
Oh my gosh.
Is the early monastery. But these paintings represent the Cotton family. Thank you to Henry, obviously.
Yes.
Now this is very interesting because this is Elizabeth with the face of Queen Anne.
Yes, and it doesn't look like Elizabeth.
No, it doesn't at all. And Queen Anne came to visit, and so they painted her face onto the painting in order to pay tribute to her. It's one of those extraordinary things, and we're not really quite sure who the gentleman on the left is, but his period would tell you he's later.
Right.
More
He
of
almost
the
looks like a
Charles the
Stewart.
First.
Yeah, I
It's
was
a
about to say,
Stewart,
it looks like a
exactly.
Stewart. But can I just go back to Queen Anne, Queen Elizabeth? So that is Queen Elizabeth's body.
Everything
dress.
about the dress and everything is her,
Right.
but they overpainted her face.
No. No.
And it apparently was not uncommon.
Oh my gosh. Because Queen Anne was coming here to visit, so they thought, quick, we've got to show her how much
butter up to whoever was
exactly.
coming. But it sits in this extraordinary frame of panelling. The centre panelling is unusual because it's not Queen Elizabeth's coats of arms, it's actually King Edward the Sixth, who died young.
You don't really hear about
No,
him.
you don't. But
So
what you
this
have
would
here,
be very
what you have
special.
here is the Dragon of Wales and the Lion of England, and this is earlier than the Elizabethan ones that you find in a lot of these Tudor houses.
So this is very
really,
special.
really special. Yeah. This was the second phase of the restoration of this room because it all started to move. So we had to take off all of the panelling, store it, number it, and behind it was a fireplace that went from here, like an inglenook fireplace, a really deep stone fireplace that went from here to the other side of the panelling.
No.
Yeah, and they had huge, huge stones, lintel stones over here, that were about they were at least a ton each.
So they're still here.
Yeah, they're still here. They're still repaired. They're still behind. But and this whole thing's been put back together again.
But who then put this here? Over the
Lord Combermere.
Oh, Lord Combermere.
Lord Combermere put this over the original.
What year? What year?
I think he did so much work to the house around 1820, 1820.
This is when he was doing the
Gothicization.
Okay.
I mean, it was a major piece of work.
Yes.
Because it wasn't just that. So you look around the room right now. So you see a highly decorated ceiling.
Yeah.
This was phase 3 of our restoration. And you see all these shields.
Yes, all the heraldry and the
absolutely.
impaling. So obviously wanted to say so-and-so married so-and-so.
All the
from
Cotton family.
Right.
So what he did was he wanted all of his family to be remembered. So starting from 1482 over here, we go all the way around. So all the big shields, the major shields, with all the cotton symbol on the left-hand side are the men, and those are the families they married into. On the bottom end, it's all the girls. So he highly decorated this ceiling, which would have been put in the 17th century. So when we restored this, we had to have a sort of scaffolding, a bird's eye, like a birdcage scaffold. So all the restorers were standing about 9 feet into the ground because they all had to do all of this by hand. So they had to take the whole thing back to the plaster, because what they'd done was they put paint over distemper. And the mould got through, and the change in the temperature meant that the ceiling paint kept flaking off.
Right.
So the restoration company we used, which were fantastic, were 4 months here. They repaired all the plaster work which had started to fail.
Right.
They repainted the whole ceiling. They cleaned, gently washed all of the heraldic shields. But the other fascinating thing about what we've got in this room is this painting over here, because the painting over here nearly ended up in a skip.
Did it?
Yes. Part of when he Gothicized the house, Lord Combermere invited the boss to come and stay with him. His boss being the Duke of Wellington.
Okay, so we're
back into the
1800s,
1820s period. He was a general, and he was one of Wellington's most senior generals.
Okay.
So he won battles everywhere. He was in the Peninsular Campaign, and then he was sent by Wellington to India to fight this battle, to try and gain the battle. It was called the Battle of Bharatpur. When he won the battle, he was then made Viscount. Then he ended up as Field Marshal, which is like the most senior military award you could get. But he came back and he asked the boss to come and stay. So the boss was coming to stay, and he decided, I don't have a grand enough dining room in the house I have. I'm going to build a dining room to entertain the Duke of Wellington. So it went up in months. It was added on to the rest of the Gothicization.
Okay.
And he had this painting done. And the painting's done by quite a well-known painter called Patrick Heafy. But it's a huge painting, and it was sitting over the fireplace in the Wellington
dining room. Right.
It was basically there to say, look at me, I'm so great.
And did the Duke of Wellington come?
Oh, yes, he came.
Sometimes.
No, he came.
He did.
And not only did he invite him to dinner and build the Wellington wing, he called his son Wellington.
Did he?
And made the Duke of Wellington the godfather.
Oh, my
So if you're going to tick 25 boxes about how to keep up with the boss, you've done it.
Wow.
Anyway, when the Wellington wing, which fell down rather quickly because it wasn't very well built. So in the 70s, when my mother was doing a major, restoration part 1, really, they had to take this wing down. And that painting, which had a huge, huge frame, oak carved frame, was sitting there, and it was all covered in sort of grey scum stuff, because
so
it had been.
You couldn't make it out.
No, and so my mother said, "Oh, I think we'll just get rid of that. That doesn't look very interesting, and we haven't got anywhere we can put it in the house."
Right.
And a friend said, "Why don't we just see if we can clean a little bit and see what it might be?" So they cleaned a little edge of it, and then it started to look really interesting. So they sent it away to be restored, and that's what what we've got, which is absolutely, again, like the painting on the stairs, a crucial bit of Combermere's history.
Absolutely.
It's fantastic, absolutely fantastic.
You're building back this archive.
Absolutely. And it is an absolutely spectacular document.
Yeah, no,
for
it
us.
really is.
So it's very interesting.
But wow, the
I know.
history in this room.
Well, that's why I say this is really the whole 900 years here, really. Anyway, come on through.
Love this room. Combermere is an architectural puzzle shaped by almost 1,000 years of change. From its medieval monastic roots to 19th century Gothic additions, each era has left its distinct mark. In the 1970s, the north wing even came close to demolition. Its recent restoration has been led by Sarah's husband, Peter. Hello.
Judy, hi.
Hi.
Very nice to see you.
Hi, so nice to see you. Oh my gosh, so you were project manager here,
Yeah,
North Wing.
that's right.
And was there a moment, can I just ask, that you thought when you took this on and you knew that your mother wanted to demolish it, that you thought, let's just demolish it? Or did you both come together and think, no, let's try to get grants or whatever you did
Well,
to keep
actually,
it?
English Heritage, there was no question of demolishing it because it was Grade 1 listed.
We did look at lots of alternatives, though, in terms of what we were going to do with it, from demolishing it
Right.
to cutting it into 3 flats, to turn it into a centre of some sort, to turning it back to as it was completely, to altering it slightly so that it worked for this next generation now.
Right.
So
So,
many options.
But you know, every time, as you know, with Grade 1 buildings, you come up against some resistance to change.
yes.
And so actually it was really probably serendipity in the end. It took a very long time, but it was serendipity in the end that we were able to rebuild it as it is
Right.
now.
Probably the second time in its existence that the house survived, because during the 18th century when it was Gothicized, I suspect Lord Combermere at the time also wanted to
Yeah, he
raise it to the
definitely
ground
wanted
and
a new
rebuild it.
Gothic castle.
Right.
So what's happened is he then encased the existing Tudor house, which is all black and white, with the Gothic exterior.
Okay.
And that's why the restoration project was so tricky and complex and expensive,
Right.
because we were essentially restoring 2 houses, the internal house and then a Gothic exterior veneer on the outside.
Putting that back.
I mean, so when you were when you were restoring this wing, which I have a gazillion more questions to ask you, but were you having to take off the
Yes,
Gothic?
everything.
So you saw the original
We
Tudor.
had to
So the
because that's what we
yeah,
mended.
The process was take the roof off before it imploded, because not a single raft around the edge was decent. It was all rotted, all worn out. Wow. Take the outside off, take the inside out, and get back to the bare bones of the old Tudor structure. Yeah. And we'll see some of those in a minute.
Oh my gosh.
Then it was a matter of repiecing it together to make it A, structurally sound, and then B, decoratively beautiful.
Back to
When did this start? This rest?
we
How many
started
years
it,
did
well,
it take?
it was 13 years fighting with planners and locals to get the permissions,
Right.
which would give us the money to do it through
Right.
the enabling development process. But when we finally did get the money, so
Yes.
we got the permissions and the money towards the middle of 2013.
Okay.
Took a long time to get everything sorted out. Started the work in 2014, January, and completed it in June 2016.
Wow.
It was 2.5 years.
Incredible.
But Peter will tell you a bit more about the workers and the workmanship. And
I lead on.
Yes, please. Oh, wow. This is amazing. Oh my goodness. Okay.
This is what's known as the Tudor study now. And what is interesting about it is it tells part of the story of the house from the historical evolutions it's been through. As I explained to you before, it was a house within a house.
Yes.
And we had the Tudor house to repair because that was also rotten, as well as the external Gothic side of it.
Right.
And what we've done on this wall in particular is to incorporate green oak timbers,
Okay.
which was solid from a structural point of view, with some of the embellishments that came out of the house. And it shows the external facade of the house inside the building, because we were going to be plastering the outside with the Gothic exterior again. Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes complete sense. So this is what I'm looking at here is really what most of the exterior of the house would have looked like.
Exactly.
When it was made into the Tudor mansion.
When it was made of the Tudor mansion. Yes, of course. How fascinating that you decided to do that.
Yeah.
But can I just ask another question though?
Of course you can.
So the whole house, if you were to take away all of the Gothic exterior, would you then have these?
Yes.
We
timber
would have
beams
them in most places.
In bits.
Yeah. This side and most of the front side of the house is still Tudor structure.
The main changes were things like windows.
Okay.
And fashions changed, and with the big Gothic windows, which we're now fortunate to have, they would just punch through some of the old Gothic structure that was there before.
Right.
And talking windows, shall I just show you something?
Yes.
Which is the old window that there's evidence of where the old window was.
Okay, where is?
Okay, just over here. First thing I want to show you is this 1727 print of the house. And it shows you essentially all of the Tudor decoration that was on it.
Yeah, it's
This window in particular is where we are now standing behind. And we know that because of this tiny little indent there.
Yes.
And this is where that window would have been.
No. Amazing.
So clearly when it was Gothicized, that window was covered over
Right.
and this window was then punched in.
Okay. And then that happened all throughout
around, yeah.
all throughout the house. They were covered up and then the Gothic windows were punched out.
Yeah.
So all of these windows that I see now
Yes.
are new.
Yeah. In terms of Gothic.
Exactly, Gothic.
Yes.
And then the Tudor ones were just closed up. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah.
That's a huge project, though, to take a Tudor house
And
say,
remodel it.
Right, I'm going to remodel the whole thing. I'm not going to tear it down. I'm just going to put a house over a house in one sense.
Fashion is an extraordinary thing.
Yeah.
But even more extraordinary was he wasn't in England when he was having it done. So he wasn't even overseeing the work.
Right.
He was Governor General of Barbados and the Leeward Islands and living over there for 5 years. So he put the whole construct in the hands of his agent and the builders and came back to find out, so what had been done?
And then he liked it. I hope he did.
Oh, he
Obviously, you
did.
did not do that. You were here all of the time. Is that right?
For the project?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I lived in the cabin out in the back for 2.5 years.
He did come in for meals.
It's amazing. But that must have just been full on for 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Incredible.
It was the only way it was going to be done.
Did you feel that every day was a new discovery to be found? I mean, because obviously finding something like that and seeing the timber frame take shape.
I always was in hope there'd be a pot of gold hidden somewhere.
Right,
That didn't happen.
In fact, I think we were both in.
Well, we did find an old shoe.
I was about to say, did you find a shoe?
Yeah, we found some coins. We found
Found a bottle, a beautiful bottle with Stapleton Cotton's glass insignia on the front. It was a wine bottle. Absolutely in perfect
That's
condition.
amazing.
However, what we didn't want to then end up is old house, new house syndrome going on.
Yes.
So we then had to reclad the whole of the exterior of the complete house and bring it all into one.
I see.
So
It was the
project-
repainting
yeah,
process,
Well, it's replastering, repainting, recrenelating, recrocketing, guttering
The whole of the house.
the whole of the house.
Oh my goodness.
But
Okay, that's
what's
a huge project.
It
So to
is.
make sure that it just looks seamless and it wasn't like there were.
Looked and functioned too.
Yeah.
You know, things like gutters, which run all the way around in the valleys at the
Yes.
top, all have to work together.
But the painting was the critical thing, bringing it back into the same colour, because that had gone rather grey. Then things had been done at certain times different colours, so the render had gone different colours. So by bringing it back in the same colour,
Yes.
that's where the real completeness, to the uninitiated eye, that's
Yes.
where you see.
We had a fun weekend, the weekend of decorators,
Right.
where we had gone through different colours that we thought were quite nice, painted patches on walls, both on sun walls and shadowy walls.
Yes.
and narrowed it down to about half a dozen different colours. And then we had lots of friends coming to stay who were decorators. By the end of the weekend, we almost had 3 times the number of colours to choose from, because everybody had their own say. It was, oh, well, this looked very nice in the south of France, and we just on a house there.
Well, that would look nice from that far away, but actually no.
So how did you make that decision?
We went back to 2 decorators and to refine the whole process down to having just a very few of us.
Right.
But guess what the colour was that we ended up with? Magnolia. It worked the best.
Brilliant.
It was.
It always does.
It's wonderful.
Honestly, this might be just the most bizarre question, but I have to ask it. Did you ever think, well, maybe we should just take off the Gothic rendering and reverse what and put it back into the timber frame?
No, I didn't.
Right.
Peter might have done, but I certainly
I
didn't.
think you have to consider all options.
Yes.
And as we were taking things off and more was revealing itself, the more intriguing it was. However, so much of it had been messed about or had rotten
Right.
or rotted. And the windows again, because they'd been punched through various holes, it broke the formality.
Yes.
And yes, you could have restored that, but I think at the end of the day it would have cost more than doing what we've done. And then you would have ended up with a house with sort of compromised outlooks.
Yes,
but it also
exactly.
wouldn't have been Combermere.
No.
So, you know, it wouldn't have been the house that had been standing there as the house.
Exactly.
And I certainly feel it should be left as a Gothic house.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But it was, and I love the Tudor rose over there, over the overmantel.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm going to
stunning.
take you through now because I want to show you where the priest hole was.
Okay. Can I just touch this wood though? I want to touch this.
Sorry. That's just incredible. Absolutely.
That's what we suggest
Astonishing.
to people. Feel it, feel it.
And now I can tell my children.
Now I'm going to take you through here. When my mother grew up, this was her bedroom.
Okay.
And so this was actually had just a little basin in it, but it had a floor that basically came down to the priest hole. Because the house went, or England went from Protestant to Catholic, Protestant to Catholic, this was a sort of hidey hole. And most houses had them under the floorboards. You went down. But now we have a passage through, and below we have a passage through.
Okay.
So you have to imagine this
That
now.
this was the priest hole. This is where the priest hid and lived.
Let me come in here and introduce you. This was my grandmother's bedroom. There was no wall structure here and no wall structure there. It was all completely disintegrated. So it was rebuilt, and I worked with Nina Campbell.
Amazing.
And we sat down, and in 2 sessions of about 3 hours each, we came up with all of the colours, all the designs, all the fabrics that she wanted to suggest that we used. And it was fantastic.
Yeah, of course, it's Nina
Absolutely
Campbell. I mean,
fantastic.
and it's so, the color scheme is so lovely, and it's you can see
beautiful.
it's just so comfortable.
Yeah.
Has all your good modern amenities, and
Absolutely.
it's look at how you've the design here, the decoration, and then the history being all
Mixed up together.
Exactly.
So let's go downstairs because I want to show you that thing I said was a surprise.
Yes.
So we're coming through now where the hallway, and that obviously is the front door of into the north wing.
I see.
But
okay.
We're going to come through here, so the priest hole would have come all the way
Down through here.
So this is a rather remarkable thing that was exposed when the building was on the verge of falling down, just before we got our permissions.
Okay.
And so we were allowed to put a structure here, a steel structure, to support this corner of the building. Because if it had collapsed, it would have taken out the library outside wall as well, because they're all connected down.
Right, right.
So English Heritage said, yes, yes. So we did that. And as we were digging to get the structure in,
Yes.
we uncovered this extraordinary circular stone,
yes.
which is in 4 quarters. And they kept going down, and it went further and further and further and further down. And our understanding of what it is that it is a marker stone, because the actual external envelope of the original building was here. So it wasn't inside the building, it was outside the building.
Oh,
But
And a lot.
We've had a friend who's been here who is a diviner,
right.
and he basically worked out there are some ley lines that come down from behind the cottages, across the field, through that window, and then they vortex over this stone. If you put your hand over the top of this,
Yeah, I was thinking this is some
sometimes
pagan.
you get a tingling sensation.
Well, you will get a huge
And
energy.
Move to
coming
one
from it.
side,
Yeah.
and it goes cool. Do you get that?
Hold on, I'm just going to do it with my left hand.
I sometimes pick up on it, sometimes don't.
Hold on.
There's quite a strong energy pulse.
So another friend's tried to
Yes.
to
Yes.
meditate on this, and he had to stop halfway through because he couldn't cope.
Because he couldn't cope with it.
So we know that this was
Wow.
a marker stone identifying the meeting place of a
100%.
Yeah, I'm getting it.
Yep, 100%.
and that energy is why they chose to put the stone down there, which also could be why they chose to build the buildings here.
Yes.
Because there
Makes
was
sense.
and that's what they did all over the country. So any really important buildings like churches or cathedrals or abbeys or any of that, they would have looked for the most positive
Yes.
location, the sort of early
Good
feng shui.
energy. Yeah.
And that's what we've got there.
That's
So when we
unbelievable.
finished all the works, we've left it open so the guests can say, what's that?
It's still a bit of a mystery though, because we don't know. We're
yes.
speculating.
Well, I
Yeah.
think, with the speculation with fair amount of backup information, because when you've got such a powerful energy
Yeah.
movement, you know that was there for a purpose.
And it's a good story to tell.
And we haven't found any others like it. So it wasn't
Right.
as though it was going to be a pair or even
Columns or-
an
yeah.
avenue of
Right.
pillars for the old monastic buildings. So it is just,
it's just-
by itself.
Yeah.
which I think
Makes
is
sense.
fantastic.
It's wonderful and such a great feature in here. So this is the downstairs. So if I'm coming to stay here,
Yeah.
I can have both those bedrooms up there, the amazing sitting room, the Tudor study. Then I come down here. I've got a private entrance, wonderful kitchen, absolutely fantastic. What you both have done here in the
No, it's
North
brilliant.
Wing is
fantastic.
absolutely sensational
Yeah.
and so inspirational. And
It is.
gosh,
And look what it's done for the house. That's what makes me so pleased.
and the
It's
stories.
brought
I mean,
the whole house back together.
this will be talked about for 100 years from now, you know?
People love it.
Over tea, Sarah shared more about the challenges she faced when taking on the stewardship of Combermere from her mother in 1992.
Sarah, wow. I'm just getting to grips with all that you've done here at Combermere, but can you kind of start at the beginning?
Yeah.
When you took over, how that happened? Because after all, I go to many of these historic houses and usually it's fallen to the male, but here it's fallen to you, which
Yes.
is wonderful.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Well, going back, my mother inherited it because her brother had died.
Okay.
So we came here when I was quite small. I then went away in my early 20s and I lived in America for 15 years. And my mother decided to hand the estate over. And we are 3 girls. There's no boys in our family. So she decided in 1989 to spring it on us all with no notice, that her plan was to give it to one of us, because it was a very small estate really, would not have been able to
Divide it,
divide it
yeah.
into 3 or to benefit 3 people. And so, but she would use primogeniture as the mechanism for who would have
Right.
the option. So I was the oldest.
Right.
I was living in New York, and she said, so this is the way it's going to work. So are you interested? So I took about a year. I came back 2 or 3 times, and I'd had a fantastic career in New York. And I suddenly thought, I kept coming back, and the estate needed energy.
Right.
It needed a sort of reinvigoration. You could just tell. The buildings were not in great shape at all, the listed buildings. My mother was passionate about her farming. She'd done a big sort of restoration project in the 70s to make it more of a family home.
Right.
And then everything else was sort of really going to hell in a handbasket. So I was really interested, having had a commercial background, about the opportunities. So I said yes.
And what
And
age were you at this point?
when I took it over in 1992, I was 40.
Right. Okay.
So I came back to England when I was 38. My company gave me a fantastic job, so I continued working in London for 2 years. And then I came up here just after, and Mummy handed it over when I was 40.
Right. Oh my goodness.
It's been a remarkable opportunity.
Quite daunting, though.
Some of it was daunting, but I would say there's a measure of naivete that works.
I can relate to that.
That had
definitely.
never been done, nothing had ever been done sort of quite like that before. And I realized, the first thing I realized was my mother ran a good dairy operation, but we needed a second business on the estate, and we also needed to restore some of these buildings. So I was really lucky, because English Heritage, when the plan was put in front of them about the buildings, they said I could restore the stables, which were not grade 1 listed, they were grade 2 first. Because
Okay.
my argument was, if I'm going to invest capital and, you know, the banks support this, it's got to be a business.
Yes.
And in a way, that's the way everything here has evolved. So that every time we've looked at a building or a structure, it has to have a long-term project, a long-term self-managing situation.
Yes.
So you spend all the money, and I knew then I could look after it and maintain it. So they said yes to the stables.
And what did you do with the stable?
We
That was
turned the stables, which Lord Combermere had grandly built for 36 horses,
oh my goodness.
carriages, grooms' apartments, etc. So I turned them into 10 holiday lets.
So you started to then get income, generate income
Yeah.
from
From
these
the
holiday
lets.
lets.
Absolutely. And that necessitated going into the walled garden and beginning to restore the walled gardens, which
Right.
are 6 acres and 3 gardens. So we took the first garden and turned it into their amenity garden, their
Yes.
relaxed garden, their time. And that started that process. And then we came back down here, and then we had to deal with the library roof, because the library roof, we suddenly found, was on a point of collapse. So they had to strip the roof.
Right.
So we did the game larder out in the back. We did the clock tower and the boathouse, where the estate office now is. And we've recently, just through COVID, done the Northwest Tower, which was the larder, which was about to collapse. And so it's an evolutionary thing, but the big bugbear in the back of one's mind was always the North Wing, because it was sitting there and it was huge and it was a lot of money.
Right.
And, you know, we looked at lots of different things, and then nothing seemed quite right. But it was, oh my goodness, the planning journey was something else.
How many years?
13 years.
13 years.
We had 2 enabling developments.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
It was. Yeah.
So you've been in charge of Combermere Abbey since 92.
Yeah.
So 33
33 years. April the 1st, 92.
Oh my gosh.
And
Does
then
it feel like it's gone really fast?
Yes, when I see my son, who's now 28.
Right, right.
But I think it was interesting, because I came back and I started doing all this work. Then I met Peter, who, funny enough, lived very close by, although he had another life doing other things as well. So we met and we got together and married in 93.
Okay.
And so he came back and he went to work for an American bank for about 11 years.
Okay.
And then he went into the thing he really likes, which is project management and design and stuff like that.
Yes.
So
you're a good team.
we are. We have a very clear division of responsibilities, which
Yes.
I think is really helpful.
Yes.
He runs and has designed and manages our business park, which he's done brilliantly. And he also did get very involved, obviously, and took on the project management here.
Yes.
And that's worked brilliantly. But I think you do, when you've got 2 quite strong people, and it's more unusual for a girl to take over the ownership and responsibility
Yes.
and feel like she wants to be in charge. For that to happen, you have to have a sort of a division,
Yes.
and then it works
And
well.
then it works. Then it works really
it
well.
works really well.
I mean, it's just really admirable and inspiring. And wow, your energy over the past 33 years is extraordinary.
Well, I was lucky. I have always had a lot of energy.
And you've had a career alongside
Yeah.
that. You know, I mean, it wasn't like you just took this on and this was going to be your life. You know, you worked hard. You went to New York.
Oh, it was great.
It's just, yeah.
That was another energy, and that was a really fabulous grounding for doing anything else, because Americans have a different approach to everything.
We do.
Yeah, you
Don't-
do.
yeah.
You have a can-do, let's get it done, it's possible.
Yeah.
It's not a, oh, no, I don't think I can. It's, yes, we can. And
Yeah.
15 years there, you saw that, and you saw how successful things became and how you part of that. And I just think it was it opened my eyes to a different approach to
Yes.
things.
Yes.
And that's very much carried me through everything I've ever
Good. So
done.
you have a little Americana in you, but you do
I
have
do
actually,
have Americana in me.
actually, literally,
Yeah,
and figuratively. Yeah,
Yeah.
you do. So when you look at the future, Sarah, what, you know, you've done all these big projects. I've seen them. You know, the wedding, the North Wing's done. You know, the library. It's just, the list is endless. But do you feel you know, there are a couple more projects you want to get done?
Yes, but they're very different.
Okay.
And I know this is going to sound a little off the sort of what we've been talking about just now, but one of the things that really attracted me when I came back to look at Combermere before I took it on was the environment and the landscape that surrounds the buildings. They, to me, are almost more powerful than the buildings.
Yes.
I feel this is a very ancient piece of land, and there's huge power in the setting that we have around
Yes.
here. And one of the things I now want to do, which was always in the back of my mind when I sort of created a bit of a vision, was to then offer that, create more of it and offer it so that people would be attracted to that as well. So that, in a way, is my next
Right.
phase. And I think I'm on the cusp now of really developing my ideas around that, because I think they're very relevant now.
Absolutely.
I think
Now is the time.
We've been completely closed in COVID, and people are desperate for green space. I think these green spaces are becoming less available. I think that's one of the most important things we can offer people, is to make sure we maintain and don't let too many things encroach
Yes.
on a space like this, so that the people that do come here and do enjoy it get the full benefit of it. And
that's-
I feel that the land has this power here.
I mean, that's why you've got these pleasure gardens that were created,
Yeah.
you know.
But we've got historic woodlands here.
Exactly.
We've got 800-year-old oak trees here.
Amazing.
Yeah. And visually, you just walk out here and there's a sort of peace
Yes.
that you can hear the birds,
I know.
you can watch the wildlife, you can drink in things
Yes.
that really calm people down and give them, and that's what our visitors say, that's what our guests say all the time. I feel so calm and relaxed when I leave.
Brilliant.
So that would be my retirement project.
And so we headed outside to explore the walled garden, a space transformed over the years, where weddings are held and guests can relax and enjoy its beauty.
So here we are in the first wall garden, and this is the first of the 3 gardens which span 6 acres.
Okay.
And this was the
Lovely.
first garden that we designed, and we call this the geometric garden because it became the amenity garden for our leisure guests in the holiday cottage.
Wonderful.
So it's done as a series of rooms, but on a geometric theme. So this is the circular
Yep.
garden, Next door is the semicircular. Then we've got the square, and then we've got the roses in the triangle. And then the other side, we've got the rectangle.
Fantastic.
So it gives people different spaces
Yes.
to enjoy.
Well, this is what I love about the English gardens is that when I, first started to really discover them and go to them and visit, be on a garden tour, and they'd say, let's head into this room and this room.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. You walk into these spectacular gardens, but each of them have different color or scent or shape.
Yeah, and I think it allows people a chance to experiment, so they're not forced to do one thing. So we've edged them with beech in some cases, and other different ways of sort of defining them in others. But this garden was very much designed, and Peter, my husband, worked very much on this one. And his theme originally was whites, silvers, blues and greens, which you can see echoed here now.
Yes,
very
absolutely.
calm, very welcoming. And then we've got these lovely, lovely large artichokes, the artichokes and the bees. I just love them.
Look at them.
You look at the bees and the butterflies. And then they're overshadowed by the pleasure garden, which was planted in about 1870. And those are Wellingtonia from the Himalayas.
Wow.
And that's obviously a cedar of Lebanon, and various other trees. That's a tree of heaven. But in the middle of that garden, which is really lovely, I bought a little Georgian Gothic pavilion from a man in Whitchurch who wrote to me when we finished the North Wing and said, I have this structure. It was built for Chelsea Flower Show. Nobody wanted it. I tried to sell it. I almost sold it twice. It's now in bits in my garage. Can I come and see you, show you the pictures? So I bought it, and then we've put it up there, and it sits between the pleasure garden and the garden wood looking at the mere. So we've called it Pempy's Pavilion for my mother.
Oh, that's so lovely.
Which is lovely.
That is.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because
fantastic.
it's really nice, because all over the estate there are these places like there's Empress Wood for the Empress of Austria who came to live here for 2 years, and then there's Clare's Cover for my grandmother, and then we've got Peregrine's Plantation for our son, and we've got Pamela's Pond for my great aunt, which is wonderful.
Gosh, that is a lovely
It's
tribute.
quite nice to do things like that.
Yeah, it is.
Very nice. But anyway, and then we can walk through here if you like to see this in the middle wall garden. Which
Absolutely.
So here we are in the middle wall garden, which we also know as the pavilion garden.
Okay. And now you've got the lovely scent of sweet peas.
Absolutely.
Yes,
And
I
so
can
this
smell.
garden now is where the wedding receptions and parties take place in this building, this structure,
Okay.
which has been here for a long time. And it's transformed, this garden.
Did you ever have weddings before this in the house?
Yes, we
You
we
did?
used to have weddings in the library.
Oh, did you?
We got a license. We were the first or second place in England to get a license in 1995.
Oh my goodness.
Because two of my best friends wanted to get married at Combermere. That's the only reason it happened. And then we realised that if we had weddings, some weddings, a few, in the Abbey every year, it would help obviously pay the bills, but also they could take the cottages and have a
Yes.
weekend party and have a marquee up here. So we did that for a long time. And then in 2006, when we seriously started the programme of restoration, we had to move the weddings out of the main house. And just serendipity, somebody said the glass house would make a wonderful place to get married. And that's what started it. So we moved
Okay.
everything up here, and it's simply brilliant.
That's great. So when was the
fantastic.
glass house built, though? Is that a Victorian
Yeah,
structure?
it's a 1903
Okay.
Messenger
Okay.
flat pack. And I was only able to save the middle bit
Okay.
because the two wings, they'd grown trees through it. It had been so destroyed.
Right.
But we kept the derelict structure of the centerpiece, which is like a fan.
Yes.
It's beautiful. And then thought, well, we'll do something with it at some point. So we rebuilt that in 2007.
Gosh.
And that's when we really seriously started getting into weddings.
That's, I mean, but what you have done is just unbelievable. It's, I mean,
Well,
because you're
you
spanning
know,
from what, 1992?
Yeah. Yeah.
There's
But,
something, honestly, I have to be honest with you, Sarah, like you're somebody to really, for me in particular, to look up to because you have just put your heart and soul
Yeah.
into this place and you can see it. Just, I mean, I'm here for a nanosecond and I can already feel it and see it, but that's so much work
It
that
is.
you and Peter have done.
Yeah.
It's been phenomenal.
But I
To
think,
make it work for future generations and to keep it so that
Absolutely.
it doesn't become derelict. And
well,
it-
that was my whole vision. Well, first of all, the vision was I wanted to bring energy back to Combermere because Combermere was lacking in energy. The buildings were going to hell in a handbasket. There were not enough people to bring that energy up.
Yes.
So the holiday cottages were done, the stables were done first, so we could bring people back in. But I've always thought, and I feel very strongly, that there was no business plan on a sheet of paper to say we're going to do this, 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 and this. There was an evolution that happened, and every time we put a piece of the puzzle in, there was another piece of the puzzle that could be laid on top, and it
Right.
worked well together. So it's sort of like a patchwork quilt.
Yes.
And I don't want to disturb the traditional things that we have. So we have a fishing syndicate, we have a shooting syndicate, and we have other things that have gone on. The countryside traditions are maintained, but actually everything else that we run commercially is very much focused towards the 21st century,
Yes.
making it work.
Right. And that is so
Yeah.
important. These
Absolutely
places
vital.
have to evolve
Exactly.
if they're going to stay
Yeah.
and be preserved, but also stay within the family.
Yes,
You
I
know,
would agree.
You know,
I think the other thing that's really fascinating is the way that the next generation are looking at things.
yes.
So, I mean, I will bow out and I will step back, and hopefully I won't be too bossy and want to tell everybody what to do. But the way they operate today, the fact that when I came back we had faxes,
Yes.
a computer or a telephone, mobile phone wasn't even in the ether.
Yes.
Now everything's done like this.
Right.
They look at things differently. They
All
are
PR is pretty much
yeah.
done social media now.
Absolutely.
We've got AI entering into this,
Absolutely.
whatever that will look like,
Yeah.
but it's
So what I think we've done here is we've laid a very good foundation because the buildings have all been restored pretty much. But actually the functional buildings, they all have a purpose. They all have momentum.
Yes.
People love coming here because they get the space. I mean, can you imagine walking into a garden like this and having all this garden,
Yeah, and
all
have-
6 acres?
right, and having
to
a
enjoy
wedding
it.
as well. Having a wedding, just to
Wedding.
have with the sun out.
I know.
Thank you for coming out.
Well, they're doing parties too now, and they're doing event launches and things like that. And it just is it's a different
It's
space.
really, really clever
And
and
it's
wonderful.
lovely.
Of course.
But there's one interesting thing in doing things like this. We've been quite faithful to the architecture.
Okay.
And you see in the walls here, there are these rather extraordinary stones.
Yes, with
the
rings.
With the rings. They were originally the heating system for the glass houses that were on the other side of the wall. So they would take the stones out and put hot burning straw in them, and they had channels. So those are 3 deep, these walls, not 2.
right. Okay.
And so through the middle, it stuffed the hot straw in it, stuffed that thing back, and that's what kept it. And in the winter, that meant that you could still grow all the fruit and everything that you wanted to grow.
so clever.
Yeah.
Was that Victorian?
Victorian,
Yeah,
definitely.
they were-
very clever.
They were clever. They were good at something.
I think maybe even before. Talking about fruit,
Okay,
let's go
okay.
up towards the maze.
Great. Oh, that scent of sweet peas is just.
I know, isn't that fun? So here we are. We were talking about fruit, and now we are in the fruit tree maze. And as you can hear, we have a lovely wedding in the background of all those people
Brilliant.
enjoying themselves.
I love it.
And we're
Yes.
sneaking in here.
You're sneaking in.
But the maze was designed by Randall Coate, and it encapsulates the mythology behind the labyrinth and fruit.
Right.
So he's put in here symbols. So we've got the double-headed axe, the labis, we've got the Minotaur's head, we've got the 5-petal fruit system. And the maze is essentially apples and pears.
This is.
I know, it's
what,
beautiful.
So clever.
I know.
This is
It's beautiful.
extraordinary.
Well, I wanted a walking labyrinth
Right.
in the courtyard at the holiday cottages.
Okay.
And Randall told me, no, that was not the right place. And then he walked through the garden. He said, you must have it here. And I went, well, I'm about to do a fruit orchard in here. He said, don't worry, we'll create a fruit tree maze. And people
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And when
I
you
love
look
it.
down from the top, that's when you see all of the design in it, which is fantastic.
Which, oh my.
It's really beautiful.
Now, how long ago did then you implement
We
this?
put the maze in 1994.
Okay.
But all the fruit
Brilliant.
will go off and it gets pressed and then it goes into the apple juice that goes into the wedding
Yes.
wrappers for the breakfast.
Yes.
So it's
How
a sort of sustainable
clever.
circle.
It's just one thing after
know.
another that you've just been hugely successful. You're really an inspiration to me because I just think you've really put your mind to it as to we've got to live differently than they did 100 years ago in order to make this place survive. We've got to
Absolutely.
make it commercial. We have to have trading.
Yeah.
And what? Oh,
Should we give
sounds
him a
like
big
they're
clap?
married.
We'll give him a big clap. Give him a clap.
Here comes the music.
Another happy bride.
Oh, yes.
and groom.
There we go. Anyway, I just want to say, well, on that note, well done. I'm clapping for you. There we go.